The red warning lights flashed across the Mars Defense Station's command center as Commander Lisa Martinez stared at the massive screen before her. Her dark hair was tied back in a neat bun, and her blue uniform showed the proud patches of Earth Defense Force. The screen showed something impossible, a ship bigger than anything humans had ever built, coming out of what looked like a tear in space itself. "Status report," she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Unknown vessel, Commander," Lieutenant Paul Rogers replied from his station. It's about 5 miles long. Our sensors can't even understand what it's made of." Lisa took a deep breath. 12 years of military service had prepared her for many things, but first contact. That was something else entirely. "Send the greeting package on all frequencies. Follow First Contact Protocol Alpha." The massive ship stopped just outside Mars orbit. It hung there like a shining silver arrow, pointing straight at Earth. The command center fell silent as everyone waited. "Commander, we're getting a response." Paul's voice cracked with excitement. It's in perfect English." Before Lisa could respond, the main screen lit up with a face, or something like a face. The being looked almost human, but its skin was pale blue, and its eyes were too large, too knowing. "Greetings, Earth Defense Force." The being spoke, its voice smooth and cultured. "I am High Counselor Zixtal of the Galactic Space Authority. We have been watching your development with great interest." Lisa straightened her uniform. "Welcome to the Sol system, High Counselor. I am Commander Lisa Martinez of the Earth Defense Force. We are honored by your visit." The alien's expression didn't change, but something in those large eyes seemed to harden. "Commander Martinez, the Galactic Space Authority has existed for 50,000 of your Earth years. We maintain peace and order among civilizations across 3 spiral arms of this galaxy. Your species has caught our attention." Something in the way he said those last words made Lisa's skin crawl. She glanced quickly at her second screen, where the station's quantum sensors were quietly running deep scans of the visitor ship. "We're grateful for your interest," Lisa replied carefully. "Earth would be honored to learn from such an advanced civilization." "Yes, learn." Zixtal's large eyes blinked slowly. "The GA has a standard procedure for emerging civilizations. You will be placed under our direct oversight. Your technological development will be guided. This is for your own protection, of course." Lisa felt her jaw tighten. "That's a generous offer, High Counselor. However, such a decision would need to be discussed with Earth's government. I don't have the authority to." "This is not an offer, Commander." The alien's voice remained pleasant, but the threat was clear. "It is how things are done. The alternative is complete isolation. No trade, no cultural exchange, no access to the galactic community. Ever." At that moment, Lisa's private screen lit up with an urgent message from Dr. Karen Powell, the station's head scientist. "Commander, quantum scans show their weapons are active and targeting Earth's major cities." Lisa kept her face neutral as she read the message. "High Counselor, we appreciate your directness. Could you tell us more about this oversight process?" As Zixtal began explaining what sounded like complete control over human development, Lisa's fingers quietly moved across her console, activating the station's secret quantum defense grid. Earth had developed this technology in absolute secrecy, hidden from even their own public. "And of course, all military development will cease immediately," Zixtal was saying. "Your species has shown an unfortunate tendency toward warfare. This must be corrected." Another message flashed on Lisa's screen, this time from Earth Command. "Stall them. Quantum shield charging. Do not let them know we have this tech." "High Counselor," Lisa said, forcing a smile, "your knowledge of our history is impressive. But surely you can understand our need to protect ourselves." "Protection will be provided by the JA," Zixtal replied smoothly. "We have found that younger races cannot be trusted with their own defense. They are too emotional." Lisa noticed something strange in the alien's transmission. Every few seconds, there was a tiny flicker, almost too fast to see. She typed a quick command, and her quantum sensors began analyzing the signal. "What about the other races in the Giza?" she asked, buying time. "We'd be very interested in meeting them." "All in good time," Zixtel said. "First, you must accept our authority. We can be very patient, Commander, but we do have our limits." The quantum analysis completed, and Lisa's blood ran cold. Hidden in the transmission was another signal, orders to weapon platforms that must have been hidden in our solar system for years. They were preparing to fire. But they didn't know about the quantum shield. They didn't know that humans had developed technology that even they didn't understand. And most importantly, they didn't know that their hidden weapons had already been detected and targeted. "High Counselor," Lisa said, her voice firm now, "I have a counter-proposal." Zixtel's expression showed surprise for the first time. "A counter-proposal? Commander, I don't think you understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Lisa interrupted. "I understand that you have 14 cloaked weapon platforms in our system. I understand that they're targeting Earth's major cities, and I understand that you're not used to species who can detect quantum-level technology." The alien's face froze. Actually froze. The transmission stopped for a full second before resuming. "These accusations are accurate," Lisa finished. "And here's something else you should know. Those weapon platforms you hid in our system, they're now surrounded by our quantum defense grid. You can try to fire them, but I don't think you'll like what happens." "Impossible," Zixtel whispered. "Your species cannot have developed quantum technology on our own." Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "You might want to scan our station again, more carefully this time." The massive alien ship suddenly lit up with scanning beams. Lisa knew what they would find. The quantum shield generators, the advanced weapon systems, all the technology that humanity had developed in secret, knowing that someday they would need it. This changes things," Zixtel said slowly. "We will need to discuss this with the full council." "We look forward to those discussions," Lisa replied. "As equals." After the transmission ended, Lisa let out a long breath. The command center erupted in cheers, but she raised her hand for silence. "This isn't over," she said. "Send everything we learned to Earth Command. And get me a secure line to Dr. Powell. Something tells me the Giza isn't telling us everything about their oversight of other species." As her crew rushed to follow orders, Lisa stared at the alien ship still hanging in space. They had won this round, but she knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had revealed some of its secrets, but not all of them. And something told her they would need every advantage they could get in the days to come. Because one thing was clear: the Galactic Space Authority wasn't used to being told no, and Lisa Martinez had just done exactly that. Captain Daniel Wright stood at the helm of the Nightshade, Earth's most advanced stealth ship. The vessel hung silently in the dark space behind one of Saturn's smaller moons, its quantum cloaking system making it invisible to even the most advanced sensors. Daniel watched the massive GSA archive station through the ship's main viewer, his green eyes narrowed in concentration. "Are you sure about this, Doctor?" he asked, turning to look at Dr. Karen Powell, who was busy working at the science station. Karen didn't look up from her screens. Her red hair caught the blue light from the displays as she worked. The data Commander Martinez got from their first contact transmission had gaps in it, Captain. Big ones. The GSA is hiding something, and this archive station might tell us what. "Status of GSA patrols?" Daniel asked his crew. Lieutenant Steve Miller checked his tactical display. 3 patrol ships, Captain. All following standard routes. We have a clear path to the station's maintenance dock. Daniel nodded. After the tense first contact 2 weeks ago, the GSA had placed observation ships throughout the solar system. They claimed it was for humanity's protection. Daniel didn't believe that for a second. "Begin approach," he ordered. "Keep us in their sensor shadows." The Nightshade moved forward silently, using the magnetic fields of Saturn's rings to mask its approach. The ship was small, about the size of an old Earth submarine, but it carried technology that even the GSA didn't know humans had developed. As they got closer, Karen suddenly straightened in her chair. "Captain, I'm picking up some strange readings from the station. The energy signature. It's not like anything we've seen from GSA tech before." "Hostile?" Daniel asked. "No, just different. Almost like it's alive." They reached the maintenance dock without being detected. Daniel turned to his team. "Dr. Powell, you're with me. Steve, keep the ship ready for immediate departure if things go wrong." Daniel and Karen put on their quantum-shielded spacesuits. These suits were special. They could bend light around them, making them nearly invisible. The two of them moved through the airlock and into the GSA station. The inside of the station was strange. The walls seemed to pulse with a faint light, and everything was built at odd angles that made human eyes hurt trying to follow them. "This way," Karen whispered over their secure comm link. "I'm picking up stronger readings from that direction." They moved carefully through the alien corridors, avoiding the few GSA workers they saw. Most of them looked like Zixtal, tall blue-skinned beings with large eyes. But some were different, species that humans had never seen before. Finally, they reached what looked like a control room. Karen immediately went to work on one of the alien computers while Daniel kept watch. This is incredible," Karen said after a few minutes. "And horrible. What did you find?" "The GSA isn't what we thought. They're not just controlling younger species. They're farming them." Daniel felt his stomach turn. "Farming? What do you mean?" "Every species they oversee is carefully guided to develop in specific ways. Some are pushed toward becoming workers, others toward becoming soldiers. But humans, we're different. We develop too fast, in ways they couldn't control." Suddenly, an alarm started blaring. Red lights flashed along the corridors. "They've detected us," Daniel said. "We need to go. Do you have enough data?" Karen nodded, downloading the last files to her quantum storage device. But as they turned to leave, they came face to face with two GSA guards. The aliens raised their weapons. "Halt!" One of them ordered in that same perfect English they all seemed to use. Daniel didn't halt. Instead, he activated his suit's special feature, a quantum field that slowed down time around him. To the aliens, he moved faster than their eyes could follow. In seconds, both guards were unconscious. "How did you do that?" one of the guards asked weakly before passing out. "Humans shouldn't be able to." They ran back to the ship, alarms screaming behind them. Just as they reached the airlock, Karen gasped. "Captain, look at this reading." The guards, their neural patterns when you attack them. They're showing signs of fear, not just normal fear, but deep, instinctive terror. They made it back to the Nightshade just as GSA ships began appearing around the station. But by then, the stealth ship was already gone, hidden in the quantum shadows it had been built to navigate. Hours later, safely back in Earth space, Daniel looked over the data they had stolen. The more he read, the more his blood ran cold. "The GSA has been doing this for 50,000 years," Karen explained to the emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council. "They find young civilizations, guide their development, and use them for their own purposes. But humans, we terrify them." "Why?" asked Admiral Peter Morrison, his weathered face serious. "Because our brains work differently," Karen said. "All the species they've controlled before think in patterns, in straight lines. But humans think in chaos. We make mental leaps they can't understand. We see connections they miss. And most importantly, we're naturally good at warfare. Not because we're stronger or faster, but because we can outthink them. That's why they wanted to control us so quickly," Daniel added. "They're afraid of what we might become if we develop freely." The council chamber was quiet as everyone absorbed this information. Finally, Admiral Morrison spoke. "So they've been manipulating species for thousands of years, turning them into whatever they need. And now they found a species they can't control, one that might be better at war than they are. Yes, sir, Daniel said. And based on what we saw in that station, they're not going to let that stand. They're going to try to either control us or destroy us. Let them try, Morrison said, his voice hard. Humanity didn't come this far to be enslaved by aliens who think they can play God with entire species. As Daniel left the council chamber later that night, he thought about the fear he'd seen in those GSA guards. It wasn't just fear of being defeated. It was fear of something they didn't understand, couldn't control. Fear of humanity itself. And maybe, he thought, they were right to be afraid. Because now humanity knew the truth about the GSA. And if there was one thing humans were good at, it was fighting back against those who tried to control them. The war was coming. And thanks to their mission, Earth would be ready for it. Admiral Peter Morrison stood in Earth's main defense command center, watching dozens of screens showing GSA ships positioning themselves around the solar system. His gray hair was neatly trimmed, and his uniform was crisp despite him being awake for the last 20 hours. It was time to show the GSA that humans weren't easy targets. "Begin Operation Wildfire," he ordered. Lieutenant Amy Harrison's voice came through the comm system. "Strike teams are in position, Admiral. Ready on your command." The plan was simple but bold. After Captain Wright's discovery of the truth about the GSA, Earth had secretly prepared a demonstration of power. They would show the GSA that humanity could not be bullied or controlled. "All ships, execute Plan Delta," Morrison commanded. Across the solar system, hidden human ships suddenly activated their quantum shields. The shields lit up like new stars, creating a beautiful but terrifying-like show. Each ship was exactly where it needed to be, positioned to protect Earth's colonies on Mars and the Moon. The GSA ships reacted immediately, their weapons powering up. But they quickly discovered a problem. They couldn't get a weapons lock on any human vessel. The quantum shields weren't just for defense. They confused enemy targeting systems. "GSA ships are trying to communicate," reported Communications Officer Betty Chen. "They seem upset." "Put them through," Morrison said with a small smile. High Counselor Zixtel's face appeared on the main screen. The alien's usual calm expression was gone, replaced by what looked like worry. "What is the meaning of this?" Zixtel demanded. "These technologies are not permitted for younger species." Morrison stepped forward. "We're not asking for permission anymore, Counselor. We know what the GSA really is. We know what you do to other species." Meanwhile, Amy Harrison and her special operations team were carrying out their part of the mission. Their ship, hidden by advanced stealth technology, approached a GSA monitoring station near Jupiter. "Team, move in," Amy ordered. Her squad, wearing the latest quantum-enhanced battle suits, entered the station silently. Inside, they found what they were looking for: proof that the GSA had been secretly watching Earth for decades, placing hidden devices throughout their solar system. But they also found something unexpected. "Admiral," Amy reported, her voice excited. "We found allies. Other species who want to break free from GSA control." In the station's holding cells, they discovered representatives from 3 different alien species. These aliens had tried to warn humanity about the GSA's true nature. Back in the command center, Morrison used this information to his advantage. "Your control is slipping, Counselor," he told Zixtel. "We've found your prisoners. We know about the resistance." For the first time, Zixtel showed real fear. "You don't understand what you're doing. The GSA maintains order. Without us, there would be chaos." "No," Morrison replied firmly. "Without you, there would be freedom. Lieutenant Harrison, free those prisoners. It's time to show the galaxy there's another way." The GSA ships started moving aggressively, but Earth's defense grid was ready. When they tried to fire their weapons, the quantum shields didn't just block the attacks. They absorbed the energy and sent it back, forcing the GSA ships to back away. "Impossible," Zixtel shouted. "How are you doing this?" "Humans are different. Morrison explained calmly. "We don't think like other species. We don't follow your patterns. That's why you can't control us." The freed aliens were quickly brought to Earth. They were amazed by humanity's achievements. One of them, a tall creature with silver skin named Krell, explained why the GSA feared humans so much. "Your minds," Krell said, speaking through a translator. "They work in ways the GSA cannot predict. You see possibilities where others see only walls. You find solutions that should not exist." Over the next few days, more alien ships arrived in the solar system. But these weren't GSA ships. They were representatives from other young species, inspired by humanity's stand against the GSA. Amy's team continued their operations, finding and destroying GSA monitoring devices throughout the solar system. Each success showed more cracks in the GSA's facade of power. "They're running scared," Amy reported after another successful mission. "Their responses are getting slower, more confused. They don't know how to handle an enemy they can't predict." Morrison knew this was just the beginning. The GSA wouldn't give up easily. They had controlled the galaxy for too long to accept defeat now. But humanity had something they didn't expect: the ability to unite others against them. "Send word to all Earth colonies and our new allies," Morrison ordered. "Tell them to prepare for what comes next. The GSA will strike back, and when they do, they'll strike hard." As if proving his words, new GSA ships began appearing at the edges of the solar system. Bigger ships, warships, but Earth was ready. "Let them come," Amy said, her team already preparing for their next mission. "We'll show them why humans have always been good at winning impossible fights." Morrison looked at the tactical display showing Earth's defenses and their growing number of allies. The GSA had spent 50,000 years building their power through control and fear. But they had never faced anything like humanity before. Because humans didn't just fight. They inspired others to fight alongside them. And that was something the GSA couldn't understand or stop. "Send a message to all ships," Morrison ordered. "Operation Wildfire is complete. Begin preparations for Phase 2. As the command center buzzed with activity, Morrison allowed himself a small smile. The GSA thought they were the most powerful force in the galaxy, but they were about to learn that true power didn't come from control. It came from freedom. And humanity was about to free the galaxy. Dr. Susan Carter wiped sweat from her forehead as she looked at the glowing screens in her underground lab. The project she had been working on for the past 3 months was finally ready. On the testing platform before her, a new kind of combat suit waited. It wasn't just a piece of equipment. It was humanity's next step forward. "Project Ultimate is ready for testing," she announced to the waiting officers. "Colonel Frank Martinez, please step forward." Frank walked toward the platform, his movements confident despite the tension in the room. He had been chosen from thousands of soldiers to be the first to test this new technology. The combat suit looked different from regular quantum armor. It had lines of soft blue light running across its surface like glowing veins. "This suit," Susan explained, "does more than protect you. It connects your mind directly to our most advanced AI systems. It lets you think and react at impossible speeds." As Frank put on the suit, Susan turned to the observation window where Admiral Morrison and Commander Lisa Martinez watched. "This is what the GSA fears most about humans, our ability to adapt their technology in ways they never imagined." The suit powered up with a gentle hum. Frank's eyes widened as the neural connection activated. "This is amazing," he said softly. "I can feel everything. The suit, the AI, it's all working together with my mind." Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the base. Admiral Morrison's voice came through the speakers. "GSA ships just appeared in Earth orbit. But they're different. They're changing shape." Everyone rushed to the monitors. The images showed GSA ships transforming, their metal shells falling away to reveal forms of pure energy. The beings inside glowed with blinding light. "So this is their true form," Susan whispered. "They're not just energy users. They're pure energy beings." The energy beings started attacking Earth's defenses, moving faster than any physical ship could. Regular weapons passed right through them. Even the quantum shields were having trouble holding them back. Colonel Martinez, Admiral Morrison called, "We need Project Ultimate now. Ready or not, this is our chance to show them what it can do." Frank nodded inside his suit. "I'm ready, sir." The launch bay doors opened, and Frank stepped onto a quantum platform. The new suit allowed him to generate his own quantum field, letting him move through space without a ship. He shot upward like a bright star, heading straight for the energy beings. In orbit, the battle was fierce. Normal Earth ships were struggling against enemies they couldn't really hit, but Frank was different. The AI in his suit helped him see patterns in the energy beings' movements, while his human mind found creative ways to use this information. "Their energy forms have a pattern," he reported back. "The AI sees it, and I can feel it. They're not as random as they look." He dove into the fight, using his suit's quantum field to match the energy being's frequency. When he hit them, they actually felt it. For the first time, the GSA forces could be hurt. In the lab, Susan watched the battle data flowing in. "It's working. The combination of human intuition and AI processing, it's letting him fight them on their own level." The GSA energy beings seemed shocked that a physical being could touch them. They tried to adapt, to change their patterns, but Frank's human mind kept coming up with new ways to counter them. The AI helped him react with impossible speed, while his human creativity let him do things the energy beings never expected. High Counselor Zixtel's voice boomed across all frequencies. "This is impossible. You're just physical beings. You cannot match us." "That's where you're wrong," Frank replied as he disrupted another energy being. "Humans don't accept impossible. We overcome it." More Project Ultimate suits were quickly prepared. Amy Harrison and her Special Ops team were the next to receive them. Soon, multiple human warriors were fighting the energy beings on equal terms. The alien allies Earth had freed watched in amazement. Krill, the silver-skinned alien, sent a message to all watching species. "Look, the humans fight beings of pure energy, and they are winning. This is why the GSA feared them." But the GSA had one more surprise. The energy beings started combining, merging into one massive form that towered over Earth like a second sun. "You force us to take drastic action." Zixtel's voice came from the giant energy form. "We have not done this in 10,000 years. Witness our true power." The combined beings started pulling energy from space itself, growing stronger. Earth's quantum shields began to crack under the assault. But Susan had been analyzing the data from the battle. She quickly called all the Ultimate Suit warriors. They had to reveal their true form to combine like that. "Now we can see how their energy patterns really work. Look for the point where all the patterns meet. That's their weakness." Frank saw it first, a spot in the center of the massive energy being where all the power flows connected. He called to the other Ultimate Warriors. "Follow me. Annie, take your team left." We hit them together. The Ultimate Warriors moved as one, their human minds and AI systems working in perfect harmony. They struck at the energy being's core from multiple angles, disrupting the patterns that held it together. The giant energy form began to break apart. Zixtal's voice screamed in fury and disbelief. "No. We are supreme. We are pure energy. We cannot be defeated by mere physical beings." "Being physical isn't a weakness," Frank said as he struck the final blow. "It's what makes us strong. We know how to fight against impossible odds because we've done it our entire history." The combined energy being exploded in a flash of light that lit up Earth's sky like a new day. The remaining GSA ships fled, leaving their leaders behind. In the lab, Susan watched the energy readings return to normal. "They'll be back," she said, "but now we know what they really are. And we know we can beat them." Admiral Morrison nodded. "And we'll be ready. Project Ultimate isn't just a weapon. It's proof that humanity's greatest strength is our ability to combine our natural gifts with new technologies in ways no one expects. As Frank and the other warriors returned to Earth, news of their victory spread across the galaxy. More alien species began to revolt against GSA control. The energy being's perfect order was cracking, and through those cracks, freedom was beginning to shine. The real war was just beginning, but humanity had shown something important. Even beings of pure energy couldn't stand against the power of the human spirit combined with human ingenuity. The next battle would be for the heart of the galaxy itself. The Orion Nebula glowed with countless colors as Fleet Admiral Lisa Martinez looked out from the bridge of Earth's new flagship, the Freedom. 6 months had passed since the GSA revealed their true energy form, and in that time, everything had changed. "Status report," Lisa ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of command. "Allied ships are in position," Betty Chen reported from her communication station. "We have forces from 23 different species ready to fight. The GSA's main consciousness hub is just ahead, hidden in the nebula." Lisa nodded. After their defeat at Earth, the GSA had retreated to their true headquarters, a massive structure of pure energy hidden where the nebula's radiation could mask its power. But Dr. Susan Carter had found a way to track it. "All Ultimate Warriors, report in," Lisa commanded. Colonel Frank Martinez ready. His voice came clear through the quantum comm. "Lieutenant Amy Harrison, strike team in position." One by one, all 100 Ultimate Warriors checked in. Each wore the advanced suits that let them fight energy beings on equal terms. But this time, they had something new. "Dr. Carter," Lisa called, "is the consciousness disruptor ready?" Susan's voice came through from her lab on the Freedom. "Ready, Admiral. If we can get close enough to their hub, this device will break their group consciousness. They'll have to face us as individuals." Suddenly, the nebula lit up with brilliant light. The GSA energy beings emerged, thousands of them, swirling together like a storm of living lightning. "So," Zixtal's voice boomed across space itself, "you followed us to our home. Your bravery is impressive, but foolish. Here, we are at our full power." "All ships, battle formation," Lisa ordered. "Ultimate Warriors, prepare to launch. Remember the plan. We need to get Dr. Carter's device to the center of their hub." The battle began. The GSA energy beings attacked in massive waves, but this time, humanity and their allies were ready. Ships equipped with quantum shields formed a protective wall, while the Ultimate Warriors flew out to engage the enemy directly. Frank led the first wave of Ultimate Warriors, their suits glowing brightly against the nebula's colors. The AI systems in their suits helped them predict the energy beings' attacks, while their human creativity let them find new ways to fight back. "They're trying to combine again," Amy shouted over the comm. Her strike team was fighting through a group of energy beings that guarded the hub. "Not this time," Frank replied. He activated his suit's new feature, a quantum disruption field that prevented the energy beings from merging. The GSA forces seemed shocked. Zixtal's voice showed real fear. "How? How do you keep finding ways to counter our powers?" "Because that's what humans do," Lisa answered as she directed the fleet's movements. "We adapt, we overcome, and we don't do it alone. We bring others with us." She was right. Ships from all the species that had broken free from GSA control were fighting alongside Earth's forces. Each brought their own unique abilities to the battle. Some had weapons that could damage energy beings, others had special shields or speed that the GSA didn't expect. "The hub is weakening," Susan reported excitedly. "The combined attacks are working." But the GSA had one last trick. The hub suddenly pulled in all nearby energy beings, creating a massive vortex of power. "You think you understand power?" Zixtal's voice had changed, becoming a chorus of thousands speaking together. "We have controlled this galaxy for 50,000 years. We are power." The vortex started pulling in everything nearby, even light itself. Regular ships had to retreat, but the ultimate warriors pressed forward. Now, Lisa commanded, all ultimate warriors, form the spear formation. 100 ultimate warriors came together, their suits linking their minds through their AI systems. Frank led the formation, with Amy's strike team providing cover. Together, they flew straight toward the heart of the vortex. The GSA energy beings tried to stop them, but they couldn't predict what the combined minds would do next. The human ability to think creatively, multiplied by 100 and enhanced by AI, made their movements impossible to counter. Susan, Lisa called the device. Susan activated the consciousness disruptor at exactly the right moment. The device sent out waves of quantum energy that matched the exact opposite pattern of the GSA's group mind. The effect was immediate. The massive vortex began to break apart. Individual energy beings were forced to separate, their perfect unity shattered. No, Zixtal's voice was alone now, no longer part of the chorus. What have you done? Freed the galaxy, Lisa answered. Your time of control is over. Without their unity, the GSA energy beings were confused, disorganized. Some fled into deep space. Others surrendered, realizing their age of dominance had ended. In the hours that followed, Lisa stood in the Freedom's main hall with representatives from all the allied species. They were creating something new, a true galactic council where all species would have an equal voice. The GSA was right about one thing, she told the gathered aliens. The galaxy does need order, but not their kind of order, not control. What we need is understanding, cooperation, freedom. Krill, the silver-skinned alien who had first helped them, spoke up. And we have humans to thank for showing us this was possible. You did what no other species dared to do. You stood up to power that seemed absolute. Frank, Amy, and the other ultimate warriors joined the meeting after helping secure the nebula. Their suits' glow had become a symbol of hope to oppressed species across the galaxy. What happens now? Amy asked as she looked out at the nebula's swirling colors. Lisa smiled. Now we build something better. The GSA spent 50,000 years teaching species to obey. We'll spend the next 50,000 teaching them to think for themselves. As the Freedom began its journey back to Earth, Lisa thought about how far they had come. Humanity had faced beings of pure energy, impossibly ancient and powerful, and had won not just through strength or technology, but through the very things that made them human: creativity, determination, and the ability to bring others together for a common cause. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the galaxy itself was celebrating its newfound freedom. And somewhere out there, the remaining GSA energy beings were learning a lesson that humanity had always known. True power doesn't come from controlling others, but from helping them grow stronger together. The war was over. The time for building had begun, and humanity would lead the way into a new age of galactic cooperation, where every species could reach its full potential without fear or control. As Earth came into view, Lisa sent out one final message to all ships. Let every species remember this day, the day when beings of pure energy learned that the human spirit burns even brighter.